Hey guys, sorry about that. I had to take the original video down. I realized something. So I was getting snippets from different people about the EXP for Golden Bomb 1. The person that sent me the snippet for the 204,000 that they got was actually a times 4 pass, and I was never told that. So I realized I'm doing times 3, they're doing times 4, so hence why the EXP looked higher. Everything is fine. Continue doing what you're doing. Golden Bomb 1 still technically gives more EXP, but if you're looking for tokens, go for Golden Bomb 6. Now, back to the other topic at hand, and that is about the multis. What are we doing, right? Like this is it, right over here. Today should be the last day. I don't know if there's one more day left or if this is the last day, but we are going to get at least one more, hopefully, of these, and then that's it. I really hope the devs continue this trend because they've done such good moves for the community lately that I have to give them credit and a big shout out for that, because when they released level 70, everybody was pissed off for the most part about like having to re-farm everything in terms of the EXP stages. This event was incredible. The New Year's event was absolutely bomb. Now I'm getting even more excited for the release of Advent Children back in theaters on the 21st and 22nd of February, and also the obviously big release of Rebirth itself, which is going to be absolutely bonkers. If you haven't been checking it out, I'm doing a live stream every night, about 2 hours worth for remake. So for those who have never seen the story and want to relive it with your boy again, or for the first time even for yourself, that stream is going on. We're on day 4 now actually, and we're 6 hours in. We're on chapter 6 right now. So the goal is to complete the game plus integrate before the actual release of Rebirth, so everybody can be on the same page and have a fresh memory of how the events turned out when the game first came out like 4 years ago, right? So this will at least give you an opportunity to relive the story and go through it. Now, with that being said, again, kudos to the devs. I really hope whatever comes next is going to be just as excellent as what they've been doing. But I just want to go over something that was mentioned in the data mine. So simplified base damage formula. This excludes unused mechanics. So ours is attack times 50 divided by enemy defense times 2.2 plus 100. So remember, and so I guess let's just put this the way it is. Remember how before we thought it was the higher the level you were, the more damage you did to an opponent. So let's just kind of take a test here. Okay, we're gonna go. Let's go here. And let's try to figure this out. I guess the best way to do this is if you have a level 45 character like Red, right? Same gear and everything, and get him to level 75, and without using any stat stream or anything, you won't do too much more damage. Essentially, the formula we thought before, where level makes a big impact on the amount of damage you take versus the damage you give, is no longer apparently valid. They found out that you'll do the same damage no matter what if you don't raise your stats. So leveling really doesn't do much there, but it does obviously allow you to raise your stats through stat stream, etc. So you will essentially get more power from that as well too, right? So if you are a math buff, I suggest perhaps going on to the unofficial Discord. Check out the author's work. He did a fantastic job. I'm not going to go through it. I'm reading it right now. There's quite a bit, and I think it's going to confuse a lot of people. And I've got to actually sit here and actually look through these numbers and figure out the formulas. But this person usually knows what the hell they're talking about. So kudos to them. Go check it out if you are interested in the actual damage formula. If not, then don't worry about it. Just continue playing the game as you're playing the game. Now, the last thing I want to talk about real quick is the Misfits challenge, okay? Now, if you guys didn't watch the video yesterday, I plan to do a challenge account where I'm using the 3 to 4 worst characters in the game to continue beating content as it comes out. Now, the units that I mentioned were Red 13, right here, Barrett, and Glenn. So a couple of things I want to talk about from comments I've been receiving. Some people put Matt on the list. I'm just going to break this theory now. Matt is far from one of the worst characters in the game. I actually consider him one of the better characters in the game because of the amount of support, healing, and damage he does. Plus, he pretty much covers magic and physical damage as well, too. Really, really well. I know Red 13, a lot of people saying that his regen is OP. You're absolutely right, but I need a healer, right? And if you put Aerith, Matt, and Red 13 side by side by healers, Matt and Aerith will probably win that fight almost 90% of the time as better healers, okay? So keep that in mind. Now, the other thing to say A lot of people don't like Glenn being on there for two reasons. Number one, his automatic weapon that just came out. I don't have it, so I don't have that. Just so you guys are aware. So it doesn't actually affect me in any way, like whatsoever. So because not having it takes away that whole advantage that people are like, oh well, you'd have this. I don't have it. I'm not summoning on Yuffie's banner, so that takes away the advantage. Number two, Zach. Zach has been someone that is definitely been jack of all trades, and a lot of people think is worse than Glenn. So here's what I'll do. I'm gonna use all four of them. Okay, we're gonna use interchangeably. We'll use Glenn and Zach alternative. Like we'll change them out whenever I need to, and then Red 13 and Barrett will stick around. Now, a lot of people are saying Barrett's not the worst. Here's how I kind of prepared this whole challenge. Right, I told myself, who were the people who had the least amount of banners and outfits so far in the game? That's essentially how I did it, right? And that's pretty much what dictates that. At the end of the day, it comes down to like who has the least amount of banners and support from the devs. And it has been Nanaki, aka Red 13, has been Barrett, and has been I close enough to say Glenn, but I guess Glenn has had, actually no, that's not true. Glenn is definitely worse than what's his name, than Zach, because Zach has had one extra outfit than Glenn. So, but either way, people are complaining that Zach's not that great, so I'll definitely put Zach into the mix as well too. So, for those who have been summoning daily, remember to, because some people have forgotten. Let me know what your stamina good. Let me know how your results have been. Have you prospered from this summoning event? Have you made a lot of progress in your actual account? I made pretty decent progress personally, so I'm very thankful for it. I hope that the devs continue providing us these things. Like they recently just gave us 100 more gotcha tickets just to summon, which I think is fantastic. So I mean, it's pretty much the same kind of concept, but you can just do it all at once versus once daily. So if they continue doing this, guys, I can see this happening. Now, one more thing I want to say. If you guys know, Applibot is also the developers of Nier Reincarnation. I actually used to cover the game. Farplay, shout out to him, who's a content creator, actually does cover the game, and it now has finally reached its EOS, which is end of service, after I believe it's been 2 years, maybe 2.5. Now, I've mentioned this to many people who have asked me about how gotchas work. I've said this many, many times. Big companies in Japan and big companies that bring games to global usually have a minimum 2-year, minimum to sometimes maximum 2-year contract with the developer. If the game continues to prosper financially, they will re-sign that developer to keep the lights on. Usually what that means is they'll have a small dev team from the original dev team stick around and push out content when they need to, and just essentially keep the lights on so the game keeps running past the 2-year mark. So just remember that Nier is obviously not as big as Final Fantasy, but it's still a pretty household name for the JRPG world. If they can close down after 2.5, 3 years, whatever the case is, anything can close down. Okay, and now, granted, they were really free to play friendly, and they didn't do quite as well financially as something like Final Fantasy 7 is doing. But this is just a sign for those who are looking to spend an arm and a leg. Anything can happen, okay? So just spend responsibly. I just want to talk about that. I'm really saddened to see Nier close down. It was a great game. And unfortunately, it just shows even great games with enough fan support can still be closed if they're not financially doing what they want, or if Applibot has bigger projects they need to assign their devs to. So there's numerous things that can happen here, guys. Again, just be smart about how you spend. That's really ultimately what I'm going with here, because anything can happen. I don't think Advent Children's EC's going anywhere anytime soon. I'd say even past the 2-year mark, they're doing great. But again, anything can happen. All right, guys, this is Payne. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Take care.